Rick Dempsey, and joined now by the former #1 pick of the Orioles back in 1989, working the radio broadcast now as an analyst, Ben McDonald. We're happy to have you here.
Man, I'm glad to be back. It's always fun for me to come back to Baltimore, especially when they're winning. It makes it even that much better.
Speaking of winning 4 straight games now, your thoughts on what you're seeing now from the Orioles?
Well, I mean, we all knew, and me following it before I came in, that, the starting pitching is always the key. And if you go back and look, the starting pitching the last 4 games has been dominant, and it's given the offense a chance to win. I've always loved the offense. They can hit home runs. They can do certain things. The defense is outstanding, too. So for me, if the pitching can continue to be, they're not going to be as good as they've been the last 4 games. I mean, they're pitching to a sub-1 ERA.
Well,
but
I hope
if they can get some consistency more than what they've had pretty much all season long, I think the Orioles have a real shot. What are they, 3.5 out of the wild card, second wild card, and 6 out right now, from the East lead. And so, hey, there's a chance. There's a bunch of baseball left, as you guys know.
Ben, have you had I know you've had an opportunity to talk to Gosman, and I saw you talking with Bundy today. But when you talk with them, do you kind of get a feel for where they are right now?
When I came back in town 2 weeks ago, I asked Kevin Gosman one thing. I said, "Are you healthy?" And he said, "I'm healthy." And that's all I wanted to hear, because I knew when you watch him pitch, and we've talked about this before, I mean, the stuff just jumps at you. And you know that what you saw early in the year with a guy that throws 94 to 98, the ERA shouldn't be as high as what it is. But look, he's figured something out here lately, just like he did this time last year. He really got on a roll. So you got to love the way Gosman's pitching. Ubaldo's been good his last couple of times out. Bundy was outstanding last night. So all of a sudden, the starting pitching is starting to click a little bit. If it can continue to click like it is, I really like the Orioles' chances.
Yeah, Ben, the big thing about the Orioles so far this season has been Jonathan Schoop with the RBIs. And since 1954, the Orioles have had 7 RBI champs. We're talking about Chris Davis, 2013. Miguel Tejada in 2004 drove in an Orioles record 150 runs. Eddie Murray in the strike season of 81 knocked in 78. Lee May had 109 in 76. Frank Robinson won the Triple Crown with 122 RBIs. And Brooks Robinson drove in 118 in his MVP year in 1964. And Jim Gentile had 141 in 61. Now let's talk a little bit about Jonathan Schoop. He's 1 RBI off the lead with Nelson Cruz topping him right now. What have you seen from Jonathan Schoop as you've been doing these games over the last several years, the improvement in Schoop? Right
now, for me, he's not missing. Like when a pitcher makes a mistake out over the plate, he's finding the barrel with it right now. He's barreling up and he's driving in some runs. It's fun to watch. But what's most impressive to me about him, I watched him last year before last. He's always hit down in the bottom, 7, 8, 9 hole. He's hitting the 3 hole now, different. I know it's a starting pitcher. I always got a little bit of extra for the 3 and the 4 hole guys, because they're the best guys. And now he's performing at a very, very high level to where he's at right now. And he's batting in the most dangerous spot in that lineup where everybody pays the most attention to him. He's right at his career high in home runs and RBIs. You mentioned he's number 2 in the league in RBI, so it's impressive. I mean, it's a young guy that's 25 years old that's feeling his way. They always say about a starting pitcher, you need about 200, 250 innings in the big leagues before the light bulb kind of goes on. It did for me. You never learn it all, but you start to figure it out a little bit. Well, Jonathan Schoop, for a hitter, you know this too, is that around 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 at bats, that light starts to pop on a little bit. I think that's where he is. We caught a glimpse of it last year. He had a great year, a breakout kind of year. Now he's having an outstanding year this year. And so I think he's getting the at-bats. If you look at the on-base percentage, big difference this year than what it was last year. He's not swinging at a whole lot of bad pitches right now, guys. And when they make a mistake, he's finding a barrel, and it's fun to watch.
Ben, what are you going to do with a guy like Jonathan Schoop when he comes up? Like right now, he's gone to a level I've never seen him at so far. Whenever there's somebody in scoring position, he always has a good at-bat, and he hits the ball where it's pitched. You're out there on the mound. You got men in scoring position. What's your approach to try to get this guy to do something different?
There's always one guy on the team that you say when the series starts, this guy's not going to beat me. If I'm looking at the Orioles right now, I'm saying Jonathan Schoop is the one guy that's not going to beat me in a ball game. So right now, if I got a base open, I may be pitching around him as hot as he is, and I'm going to face the next guy, But if you have to pitch to him in a certain situation, he's really, really good on balls middle away right now. I see him taking some good swings at it, and he's recognizing the breaking ball quickly out of the pitcher's hand too. So he's so dangerous. So for me, maybe the few at-bats I've seen him, I like fastballs in. I don't think you can stay there, but I think you can stay away, and then you can beat him in at times. I think that gives you your best chance.
This was a test, and you passed it. Okay.
Ben, we'll be listening to you on the radio on 105.7 The Fan, and we appreciate you stopping by to do a little something with us here.